Welcome in, grab a seat, and join me courtside as we talk your Miami Heat. Welcome on into another edition of Miami Heat Basketball Beat. I'm your host, Michael Furley, and we're coming to you moments after your Miami Heat take on the Golden State Warriors on the West Coast as they start their 5-game West Coast road trip. Coming into this one, your Miami Heat were 22-20, 8th in the East, up against the Golden State Warriors, who were 24-19, also 8th in the West. We got some bad news, depending on how you look at it, coming into this one, as Tyler Hero, who missed the last game, was also ruled out with this one. Got an MRI. I'm not sure the exact term, but has some sort of issue with his ribs, meaning he is most likely going to be out for the rest of this road trip. I don't know if this is a real injury, if they're keeping him off because there might be some trades coming through. I don't want to speculate either way on that, although the trade deadline is coming due in about less than 2 weeks' time. So this is a little interesting here. We'll just have to see what it actually is. But with Hero out, we did have a couple players returning, as both Davion Mitchell and Jaime Jaquez were returning to the lineup today, where Davion Mitchell will return to the starting lineup and Jaquez would resume his role as the sixth man. So our starting lineup tonight was Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, Pelle Larsson, Andrew Wiggins, and Bam Adebayo. And we have just a few notes here in our first quarter. Mostly it was about the rotation. Jaquez was the first player in off the bench for Powell. Only 25 seconds later, do we have another sub, Fontecchio in for Larsson? I don't know why he's staggering these subs with 40 seconds or less apart. There's no guarantee you're going to have a stoppage of clock here. Why don't you guys just put him at the same time? Anyway, Fontecchio came in for Larsson before the 6-minute mark. And then Yakachonis came in for Davion Mitchell. It was not Drew Smith. Yakachonis was the backup point guard tonight at 3:25 when Ware came in for Adebayo at that same mark, and Powell returned for Wiggins. So Powell sat for 3 minutes, returning into the game with 3:25 left into the first period. And there was one fun play. I couldn't get the replay of it because it was the camera was not focusing on the play, but we had Ware with a really nice over-the-shoulder one-handed catch where he, with that one catch, swooped it around to a reverse two-handed dunk on the run, never broke his stride, caught it, and then kind of went to rock the cradle reverse dunk. It wasn't as spectacular as it sounds in terms of power and just awesomeness, but the grace of catching the ball and getting the ball up the best way he could was very impressive. And that dunk actually put us up 32-28 with 1 minute left to go in the first period. However, the Golden State Warriors would finish on a 6-0 run to finish that first period, taking a 34-32 lead as we head into the second quarter. And the second quarter, we held firm, but we were struggling here as they were making all their points look easy and pretty, and we were really fighting hard to keep up with them. And most of that came in with us shooting awful once again, but making up for it on the second chance points on offensive boards. We just picked up where we left off in that OKC game. Unfortunately, we did not shoot well enough on some three-pointers to keep up with that. So at the end of the first half, we were down 70-66, being outscored by both quarters by 2 points. Seemed worse than that, as we really weren't playing very well, or at least, like I said, Golden State was scoring easy. We were fighting really hard to get our baskets. But at the break, Norman Powell had 13 points, shooting 4 of 7 from the field and 1 of 3 from downtown. Davion Mitchell would add 5 points, chipping in with 1 3-pointer, had 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Pelle Larsson had 7 points on 2 of 6 shooting. Wiggins was the hot man in the first half, scoring 18 points, 6 of 9 shooting, 2 of 5 from downtown. Despite being the high score for the Miami Heat, he was a -1 through the first half here. Adebayo was awful, out of sorts, struggling, could not shoot, went back to his ways he was on that last road trip, getting only 2 points at the break, 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 3 from downtown. Did get 4 rebounds and had 3 assists, however. I'm very sorry for the jump cuts, guys. I am sick and I am coughing up a storm and trying to cut these out of the show here. All right, now for our bench players here. Jaime Jaquez had 10 points on 4 of 8 shooting, made 2 3-pointers, 2 of his 3 shots. The same shots he always takes when they swing, he's open. Got to take him. This time he made him. Also had 4 assists in the first half. However, he had 2 turnovers, and it seemed like more than that as he was doing his spin in the crowd. But the Golden State Warriors really had the remedy for that. They just had enough guys who were scrappy in there, strong enough and big enough, as a lot of times he was just stumbling and bumbling in there. But he did get a few baskets early, mostly from the outside with those 2 3-pointers. Fontecchio came in, of course, we mentioned, didn't struggle in the first half, getting 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting, 0 for 3 from downtown, but had 7 rebounds at the first half. He really was attacking the boards and had 2 steals as well. So he was really scrappy there, just didn't get a shot quite going yet. Kel'el Ware had 6 points on 3 of 4 shooting, only had 1 rebound in the first half. Yakachonis had 0 points, and Drew Smith made his only shot, a 3-pointer from the corner late in the first quarter, for a little offense, defense down the break here towards the end of the first half here. So at the break here, like I said, it was 70-66. Both teams got up 51 shots. Your Heat made 22 of 51. Golden State made 26 of 51 at the break. We were 7 of 22 from downtown, most of that from Andrew Wiggins and Jaime Jaquez. The Golden State Warriors were 10 of 26 from downtown. We out-rebounded them 27-23. We only had 15 assists of their 22. We had 9 turnovers in the first half. Remember, we're coming off that 4-turnover game against OKC. We had 9 turnovers. Golden State had 7, but it seemed like they were scoring more off of our turnovers than we were scoring off of theirs. From our 9 turnovers, 7 of them came from steals by Golden State. All right, heading now into the second half here. We were trading baskets back and forth. Again, we were down by 4 at the break. At this point, we were down by 2 points, 75-77, with 7:41 left in the third period. When Jimmy Butler would go down with a knee injury, he landed on I'm not sure if it was left or right, honestly, because he was kind of twisting for the catch. And his knee kind of bent inwards. So I really don't know what happened. It wasn't a hyperextension. It kind of made a little bit of a, I don't know, not an L shape. It wasn't that pronounced, but his knee kind of collapsed towards the inside, and he went down, and he was holding that knee, had to be helped off. But this will be the trend of this game. When a star player for Golden State goes out, then the Warriors go on their biggest run of the game from that point. Over the next 2.5 minutes, with Jimmy Butler out of the game due to injury here, the Golden State Warriors would go on a 12-0 run, expanding their lead to 89-75. With 4:50 left in the third period, your Heat only shot 3 of 15 from the field and 0 of 7 from downtown during that first 6.5 minutes of or 7.5 minutes of the first period. They really did struggle until Fontecchio made a couple threes towards the latter part of the third period, and Yakachonis made 1 3 there as well. So after 3, despite that 12-0 run, we were down by 11. We scored 27 in the third period, while Golden State scored 34. The score was 104-93 in favor of Golden State. Your highest scoring players in that third period was Fontecchio with 6. Powell had 5. Mitchell and Larson and Adebayo added 2. Yakachonis added that 3-pointer, but Jaquez scored 0 points, and Wiggins scored 0 points in that third period. All right, going to the fourth, we got some good news here. Again, we're keeping it at that 11-point margin, so we actually get it down to a 9-point deficit, 103-122, thanks in part to a 3-point play by Simone Fontecchio, which was caused by Steph Curry getting his 5th foul of the game early in the fourth period. He had to sit down. And just like when Jimmy Butler went out, when the Golden State Warriors stars were out, that's when their other players, role players, took off, mostly from Podziemski here. They went on a 15-0 run, ballooned their lead 127-103 with 3:54 to go. And Spo waved the white flag, putting in Gardner, Yakachonis, Drew Smith, Kashad Johnson, and Nikola Jovic. got in for the first time in garbage time. He was going to be a coach's decision, a CDNP here. So he's listening to the show here, really getting Jovic out of there. We'll talk about it at the end here about some of the rotations. But the main one I mentioned here is that Jovic only got in garbage time that last 3.5 minutes with all the young players. All right, so the final in this one was Golden State 135, Miami Heat 112. A very awful score here as the bench just dominated our bench today by far. They outscored us 31-19 in that fourth frame. Again, starting off with that 15-0 run between 9 minutes and 4 minutes. Pretty disappointing here. Norm Powell added 3 points in the fourth quarter. Fontecchio added 5 points in the fourth quarter. Ware added 2 points in the fourth quarter. And that was it for our main rotation guys who scored in the fourth quarter, as most of the points came from that garbage time group in the last 4 minutes. So pretty tough going here, guys. A pretty bad game. Whenever we were close enough, and then a fortunate occurrence would happen in our favor in terms of a player missing time. Obviously, we're not rooting for injuries here, but a player missing time due to an injury and a player missing time due to foul trouble, and it did not matter. Golden State took it. I don't know if we exhaled or, just we weren't shooting well tonight. We shot awful. And all those second chance points we were getting in the first half, we just kept missing them. We were getting them a bunch of offensive rebounds, but we just kept missing our putbacks and our second chance threes as well. And without those second chance points, as dominating as they were against OKC, we were not going to come back in this game. All right, our totals here at the end. Norm Powell finished with 21 points, shooting 7 of 16, 2 of 7 from downtown, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, but had 3 turnovers, a -6. Davion Mitchell had 7 points on 1 of 6 shooting, had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers. He was a -17. Pelle Larsson had 9 points on 3 of 7 shooting, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, -12. Andrew Wiggins, who had 18 points early through the second period and at halftime here, finished with that same 18 points. He could not get anything to go. In the second half, finished 6 of 14 shooting, did Wiggins, 2 of 7 from downtown, 5 rebounds, and 3 turnovers, a -24 for Wiggins, a team high or team worst, -24. Bam Adebayo, what is going on here, man? You had that awful road trip last time. Couple of the weeks prior to that, honestly, came in this last 3-game homestand and was dominating, averaging 27 points per game. This one, he only had 4 points, guys. Shot 1 of 13. 0 of 5 from downtown. He did get 12 rebounds, had 3 assists, only had 1 turnover, but he was a -20. Jaime Jaquez had 10 points at halftime, finished with the same, shot 4 of 12 from the field, 2 of 4 from downtown, did have 9 assists, but he had 4 turnovers. Like I said, every time he went into the lane, he was not finishing as well as he shot 4 for 12 from the field. Did not finish nearly as well in the paint and was getting kind of on his spins. People were digging down and kind of poking the ball away and getting it out of his hands. So he wasn't in control as he was going through there, but he was a -10. Fontecchio had his moments. I thought he rushed some of his shots. He did make 2 of 7 from downtown, 5 of 11 from the field, but he had 8 rebounds, 7 of those in the first half. 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He really was running all over the place. I think he just rushed a couple of those shots. And if he could have, again, he was the only one scoring in that third period. But if he could have made 1 or 2 more, we would have been down by, 7 points or so instead of 11 points. Would have been very helpful. Fontecchio was a -20. Ware I thought was really good today. Let's see, I lost the track of how many minutes he played. Let me double check. Not too much more. He played 18 minutes, did Ware tonight, but honestly, he was the best thing going in the early part of the fourth quarter when they kind of got it down to 9 points, and as they shaved down the biggest deficit in the third period when he came in that later third into the early fourth, he was doing pretty good. He finished with 15 points, 7 of 10 shooting. Most of them were on dunks and alley-oops. He went 1 of 3 from downtown, only had 4 rebounds, but had 2 assists, was a team best, of the people who played enough minutes, a -4. Yakachonis finished with just 3 points, 1 of 3 shooting on a three-pointer, had 3 turnovers, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Drew Smith finished with 5 points here. One of just a couple shots here, and half of that came in that garbage time. All right, team comparison totals here before we get into some thoughts overall here. Miami Heat had 19 turnovers after seemingly solving the issue. They went right back to where they were on their last road trip. Seriously, almost the exact same types of stats. 19 turnovers. They did get 30 assists, shot 13 of 45 from downtown, so that's like 30%. Had 54 rebounds, 20 of them offensive, 17 second chance points. Got 99 shots up, shot less than 40% again. They did shoot well from the free throw line, shooting 21 of 24. And Golden State had 14 turnovers, so they weren't perfect as well, but that's in that range you can deal with. But again, a lot of theirs were dead ball turnovers, or their Heat's turnovers were live ball turnovers. I don't have that. Oh, the Golden State Warriors had 38 assists. They had 13 of. Hold on. One second. Sorry. I made some mistakes here. Golden State only had 11 turnovers. They had 38 assists. They had. Hold on one second. What is that stat? No, they did have 13 turnovers. Oh, they had 13 turnovers. Gosh, I'm all over the place. Golden State had 13 turnovers, 38 assists, 11 steals. There we go. 11 steals. They shot. And I did not update this. They shot from three-pointer. They shot 24 of 51, 47% from downtown, shooting 51 three-pointers. They got 46 rebounds, so we out rebounded them, but most of ours were on the offensive glasses. We got 2 and 3 rebounds on a possession at a time, but we did not capitalize with the score like we did last time. Only gave up 8 offensive rebounds, so that part was pretty good. Only 8 second chance points. And like I said, the Golden State shot 51.5% and only went to the free throw line 17 times. But the star of the game, especially as the game was getting spread out, blowing up, as the Golden State started to spread the lead out, Brandon Podziemski had 24 points, 9 of 19, not super great from the field, but that's good enough. 3 of 7 from downtown, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, but most of that came in that third, fourth quarter area where they really blew the game open. We had Curry kind of under control, had 19 points. Again, he was dealing with foul trouble throughout the game. Shot 5 of 10 from 3, did Curry, but he did have 11 assists as we were really chasing him around, and he was finding guys as he was getting harassed by double teams. And Al Horford, guys, this is crazy. He was a team high for Golden State, plus 31. It's kind of upsetting, but this is now years at this point. For a while there, Bam was really dominating Horford there, and like I say, around that 2020, 2021 area. But in the last 3 years, Horford's really been taking his lunch. He just waits, lets Bam do his moves, and just swipes down to the ball when he shows it to him. He's just sitting back and waiting. We played zone tonight more than we usually have over the last few weeks, and you can't play zone against a Horford team. He wasn't even the main cog today, but they were just really getting into the free throw line and spraying back out. They weren't going around the outside. They were passing, instead of going from wing to wing, they were going from wing to free throw to wing. And then they get back cuts with Gary Payton Jr. When that opened up now and again. So they really destroyed our zone tonight. And I don't know why we played it so much, because these smart zones are easy to break if you're a smart team. And Golden State's a smart team. And Horford is honestly the best zone breaker I've seen against the Heat for years now, beating the guy either at the free throw line, passing the ball, or just knowing where to go to spot up for threes, as Horford made 2 3-pointers tonight. Really tough game tonight. I thought we had this one for a little bit, but at the end of this one, the Miami Heat the Golden State Warriors have improved to 25-19. They defeated Miami Heat 135-112. Heat fall to 22-21. Really letting one go here, as they had a chance to make up some ground as Cleveland, New York, and Boston all lost tonight. We could have made up some ground here, because we're only 3.5 games back from 3 games back from third place. We could have cut that down to 2 or 2.5 with a win tonight. So it really didn't take advantage of other teams out there losing. I guess we didn't lose any ground, but you got to take advantage of those situations. We're playing tomorrow night or Tuesday night, depending on when you're watching this, in Sacramento. Last time Sacramento demolished us, behind Zach LaVine going nuts. All right, let's talk a little bit about the game here in terms of who played, rotation, stuff like that. All right, well, Jovic was moved to the back of the bench. Thank you so much. So we didn't get one of our favorite our favorite segments. So we didn't get our favorite segment of Jovic loses the ball.
Jovic losing the ball.
But it was nice not to see his goofy ass on the court. The other thing I want to mention here, we did a little bit there, is that Yakachonis moved ahead of Drew Smith. I know Yakachonis played really well last game, and especially in the last 2 Boston games that he's played against. But he went back. He was not very effective tonight. Had more turnovers than assists. Was really struggling on defense and bringing the ball up here. I'm not saying Drew Smith is the answer, obviously. I don't know what to do there. We all want to see the young guys play, so I'm not overly against it. But it is of note that that Yakachonis moved ahead of Drew Smith tonight, and so did Fontecchio move well ahead of Jovic, which we've been kind of seeing that, but now it became even more so. Ware had a little bit longer of a leash. I did see a play here. I don't know if Spo was stomping at Ware, how sometimes it gets frustrating, he stomps down on the floor. If so, it was unwarranted. So there was a drive, I forget which player it was, drove right down the lane, and that wasn't Ware's man. Ware was covering the basket, stepped up to stop the driving player who would have had a wide open dunk. There was no one there. And then he sprayed it all the way out to the corner for a three-pointer, and Ware reacted, closed out as fast as he could, but he just had so much ground to cover. Got his hand up, jumped full extension at the three-point shooter, but the three-point man made the shot, and then and as he closed out, he was closing out right towards the Heat bench, so he pretty much was running towards Spo, and Spo was stomping his feet. I don't know if he was mad of other people not rotating or letting the guy get beat, where Ware had to step up to block the drive, or if he was mad that Ware didn't get out to that three-pointer. And if he did get mad because he didn't get a three-pointer, screw Spo on that one, because Ware stepped up to impede the guy driving to the lane who no one was there to protect the rim. So in this instance, he protected the rim and closed out at full extension and full speed. It's hard to get from the rim to the three-point line and not enough time to deter the shot. So I hope to God Spo was not stomping at Ware on that one. That's one of the things I noticed there. It's a little hard to tell what he was upset about, as we were giving up three-pointers during that stretch, but it was not Ware's fault. I thought Ware did pretty well today. Got a lot of rebounds and he didn't get a lot of rebounds, but of his rebounds, they were in traffic, one-handed, outstretched arms in a crowd. So I thought he played okay. Definitely did much better in terms of shooting tonight. Again, 7 of 10, 15 points. So hopefully this will give him a little more good grace to get at least, closer to that 20 to 25 minutes here. I think Fontecchio played a little too much, if you ask me. Fontecchio played 26 minutes. I thought Fontecchio played well. I just think he kept him out there a little too long on certain stretches, and I think Fontecchio was rushing some of his three-pointers. He's a really good three-pointer, but sometimes he's like, I gotta get it up. That's when you start missing, because you just settle down. If you're not open there for the set shot, like the ones that I'm not saying he should shoot as good as Jaquez. He's a better shooter, but Jaquez only shoots those threes when he's calm, catches it, steps into it. I think Fontecchio needs to limit his threes to those types of spot ups, so he's not just flinging them up there, because I don't think he's a good enough quick catch and shoot fadeaway type three-point shooter. He's more of a spot up guy, and he's just got to be a little calmer on some of his shots, although his drives and rebounds were really impressive today. He was probably the most active player today, so I'm going to give Fontecchio credit for that. And he gives you much more than Jovic. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of you guys like Jovic out there, but Fontecchio, again, crashing the boards, knocking the ball away, had tons of deflections. If he just would not rush some of those shots. He drew most of the fouls on Steph Curry. At least 2 of the fouls that I saw, if not more, were on Steph Curry on makes from Fontecchio. So this one was tough, guys. This one was tough indeed. It seemed like we were hanging around. We were kind of doing the gritty way here, as we weren't pretty, but we were close enough through moments of this game. And we actually seemed like I said, when we had things happen in our favor in terms of their better players missing some time, that's when we let go of the rope. Hopefully, again, this is a tough 5-game West Coast road trip. Honestly, I'll be happy with 3-2. I'll be okay with 2-3. Just don't go 1-4 or worse. That OKC win gave us a chance to go 2-3 and still be over 500. Listen, we're a 500 team at best. We just got to keep over that ledger and hope we get one strong winning streak to maybe give us a 3, 4, 5 game cushion. But really, we're doing this one road trip, one home stand at a time, where we want to go over 500 at home and as close to 500 on the road in these stretches here. Bam, bam, bam. It's got to be said. Awful, awful game in terms of offense. All the stuff he was doing last time. Just pump faking, and then throwing up a nasty shot, hitting the back of in between the backboard and the rim a lot. The shots weren't even close today, guys. His 3-pointers weren't close. We're going to chalk it up. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt after this nice 3-game stretch he just had. But at the same time, we're not going to let that 3-game stretch erase the last 15 games of bad. So right now he's 16 out of his last 20 games have been bad. Let's see if he can turn around tomorrow night or later tonight, depending on when you're watching again against Sacramento. Not an easy game because of the nature of a back-to-back. Last time they smoked us. Let's hope we take this to heart and have a little pride. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. Not a lot of highlights tonight in this awful game in terms of score. But with that being said, may you please make your free throws. May your coaches' challenges be successful. And we will see you next time.